Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
The Democrats are a party of pedophiles.
I would definitely say so. They support grooming children.
They are not pedophiles. Why would you say that?
Democrats support, even Joe Biden, the president himself, supports children being sexualized and having transgender surgeries. Sexualizing children is what pedophiles do to children.
Wow. Okay.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Well, I hope everybody's doing okay. Windy and chilly out here today, cloudy. Yesterday it was nice out. Wasn't very cold, but they did say we might get flurries or something like that. I don't know, it hasn't done it yet, but I was just outside here a while ago and winds just so yeah, it's quite a day, so in a lot of different ways, but yeah, it's one of those days, you know, in Maine where you have to pay for the good days you get, you know. Well, I hope everybody had a decent weekend. And as we move, we're now into April here, beginning of April. Hopefully that means, you know, by the end of April we'll have some better weather coming our way, and you know, maybe in a couple of weeks we won't have to wear our big heavy jackets. But I'll tell you, you know, I went down to they have a brand new Dollar General here in Bangor, and some of you might have them in your town, but I went down there today to look around, you know, for Easter stuff and things like that. And I was surprised. I went in there and there wasn't a whole lot of anything Easter in there, and there was a lot of shelves in there that were just bare. Now the store, I can't say it recently opened, but it hasn't been open a year, okay? It hasn't been open a year. They took over an old Walgreens building, and so they moved into it, and they put their stuff in there. But there are some good things in there. I can't say everything in there is cheaper than what you could find somewhere else, but you have to be smart when you go in there to find things. So, I mean, I've been to a Dollar General before in other parts of the state, but this one is, I believe, is the only one here in Bangor. I don't know if they have another one. There might be another one in Old Town. I don't know, but Dollar General is in Bangor, and surprisingly, it's not getting a lot of business. I haven't seen many cars there since it opened, and you know, I'm thinking, you know, well, that's not a good sign. You know, a store that hasn't even been here a year yet, and any given time of the day, you can probably count on one hand the amount of cars that are parked there. You know, I don't know if these kind of dollar stores or Dollar Trees are actually going to make it through this inflationary period, you know, because, I mean, even Dollar Tree, I mean, which had to raise its price to $1.25, I believe, or $1, I can't remember now what it is, but it's more than $1 now, but they still call themselves Dollar Tree. I notice now that their stocks and their selections have shrunk a bit, and you know, they still have good things to buy in there, but some things you can get cheaper at an ordinary grocery store for under $1, and so, you know, they might be hurting there when it comes to that. It might be they'll have to make variations in prices, like maybe some things they'll have to mark down under $1 in order to get people coming back to buy stuff again, you know. So maybe it won't be more than $1 and change, but maybe they can make things less than $1, okay? Maybe some things aren't worth that, you know, to charge that high. So they might want to consider that, because then that would spur more people going in there to buy things again, and then they could probably get, you know, more stock in there and different, you know, varieties. I don't know. I mean, if I was running the store like that, that's what I would think of that, and say, well, you know, we don't have to sell everything in here for the same price. Some things are not worth $1.25, you know, or even $1. You know, some things you can probably get for way less than that in a regular store. And so you just you have to kind of be smart about what you're selling. But maybe they have some way of you know, getting people to buy stuff that's overpriced, and that's where they get their profit. I don't know. It just seems like these days running a Dollar Tree or something like that is going to be challenging because of inflation. I also heard that the price of gas is going to go up again for the summer. So that means people are just probably not going to travel as much as they say, as what? I don't know. We had high gas prices last year, right? Last summer, right? So it's not like we did a lot of traveling then either, but it's already almost $3.50 here a gallon. And VZ, which is a lot for us, because, you know, we don't have the income like most states have, you know, that people get. Our minimum wage here is 13 something, I guess, 13. Some places are paying as high as 15, but people really can't, you know, afford $3.50 a gallon in gas in Maine, okay? And where Melissa lives, weird, it's 30 cents less up there, okay? So I don't know how that gas station up there figures it can sell it for that cheaper, but you would think that if they can do it, they could knock 30 cents off down here too, you know? So I don't know. It's going to be tricky this summer going anywhere, and I don't see that right now. I mean, a lot of people are moving around in different places to try to find cheaper places to live, you know, like apartments and stuff, and it's not working out too well there for some. Matter of fact, our landlord here showed the apartment next door, which is vacant, to a few people over there, and none of them has really, you know, I don't think any of them is going to come over and commit to moving here, because it's like it's $1,000 a month now to stay in this apartment, which, you know, when I first my first apartment, I was paying like under $500 a month, but it was small. It was just a 1-bedroom. This one's got 2. But even then, I wasn't paying $1,000 a month, you know, in my first 2-bedroom apartment, which was a little bit bigger than what I got here. I wasn't paying that, but boy, in 30 years, times sure change, I'll tell you that. Now, over the weekend, I guess people were, the talk going on really wasn't about Donald Trump so much this weekend. It was about 60 Minutes. And a lot of the yakking is this interview that Leslie Stahl had with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay. A lot of people were really pissed off at her for interviewing that woman, which, you know, at first, you know, I can understand. I was like, why would anybody want to put that two-faced, crazy bitch on TV, and listen. I mean, it's like, every word out of her mouth kills a brain cell. All right, it's just insane the things that she says. So a lot of people, I think the knee-jerk reaction was that this interview was beneath 60 Minutes, and that Leslie Stahl should have never wasted her time with that woman. Okay, but on the other hand, as I was thinking, there's a lot of people in America who really don't pay much attention to politics. Okay, there really is. I mean, there's a lot, and a lot of those people are a middle of the road. They don't lean left or right. I guess you would call them the undecided. Okay, the undecided voters. They don't get involved in politics unless it really, really matters in some way, shape, or form. Okay, like the election, the last presidential election. Okay, that drew quite a crowd there to get rid of Trump. Only in things like that would you actually, motivate them to get out and vote. Okay, so I think that this interview with MTG was really designed for them, because for some reason 60 Minutes feels like maybe she hasn't gotten enough attention, for her things that she says. I don't know, because to me she's made already a bullseye on her back for stupid things dumb people say. And she's always, it seems like they always take clips of things that she says on the nightly news and they put it up there for people to watch. And it's like, well, you would think, I follow politics pretty close, so I can't understand how somebody wouldn't know Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, I can't see how somebody wouldn't know unless they've been living under a rock, because this person, like Lauren Boebert, has made the last 8 months, a living hell for, congressmen and stuff. They can't stop getting a spotlight on them. They're always in the center of the news next to Trump. Okay, it's they're like, Trump, DeSantis, Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a few others. But it's just they're always in the news. Okay, so you would think everybody in this country ought to know these people by now. But 60 Minutes, like I said, felt that maybe not enough people knew this woman, and so they figure, they've interviewed controversial people before. Okay, it's not unusual. Go all the way back to the 70s when 60 Minutes was around, and they would interview people from, Iran or something like that, or, some dictator, and that would be on Sunday's edition there or something. So they've always, gone there where other people, really would not go, I guess. But, Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't seem to even fit into that category of being so unnerving that she deserves a camera in her face, okay? For those of us who know her, putting a camera in front of her face is giving her like candy. Give her candy, and then she's gonna say whatever you want her to say. The most ridiculous thing that can come out of her mouth, she's gonna say it, because that's what she's good for. So, unsurprisingly, the interview did just that. It gave her the camera, and she just went to town, saying all this nasty crap, calling Biden a pedophile and every Democrat a pedophile, and anyone that can sit and watch that and absorb that and feel like that's not unusual is a problem. Okay, you've already gone past the point of no return. If you think that what she said about just that one thing about Democrats being pedophiles, if you think that that's okay to say and that she's correct on that, then you've already gone past the point of no return. Okay, because obviously you're a maggot. Okay, and you're on her side, and so I find that these people, you can't change their mind about anything. They're stubborn, they're dead fast in what they believe. Even if you talk them into a corner where they can't, get themselves out through reason, they still will go down fighting that they're right. So for those people in 60 Minutes, they got nothing out of that. Okay, they got nothing out of that. But for the undecided in this country who really aren't into politics that much, and they probably don't know her that well, they might have been shocked by what she said. Okay, the mask come off for a lot of these people because, you know, they might know her as being sort of loud and everything like that, but I don't think they realized, you know, that she's like a QAnon supporter, and that she's, you know, said some outrageous things, and she acts like a fool, you know, when the president's giving a speech, you know, when she showed up drunk at the State of the Union address, and she's barking in the background and saying nasty stuff. I mean, you know, it used to be before her, anybody doing that they'd have been shouted out of the room. Remember the guy that screamed out, "You lie!" I can't remember his name, when Obama was giving a speech. That was considered, oh my God, you can't do that. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene took it 5 steps more than that, okay, in the last State of the Union address. Okay, so now that sort of thing isn't like taboo anymore now. So there's always going to be some dingbat in the crowd that's going to act like a fool. If it ain't her, it'll be somebody else. But that's what we have now, okay? And, you know, people that don't follow politics, you know, I'm hoping that they got an eyeful of her because really what Leslie Stahl had showed was just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip of the iceberg of her, okay? And there's so much more about her that she really didn't get into with her, but it really showed, you know, it put like a red flag on her, is what it did, and saying, you got to beware of this person. She ain't dealing with a full deck. This is why. And I'm hoping that managed to get that message across, that even if you don't know her as well as the rest of us do, you should know that she is dangerous. Okay, she's not all that smart, but she's also very dangerous, and she has a way of getting people's attention, which is, you know, how ignorant, dangerous people survive, is by saying outrageous things to keep the spotlight on them, you know, and so that way the talk of the town is always about them, and that's what they like. I mean, that's how Donald Trump did his job as he campaigned for the presidency, and when he was president, is always keep it about himself, selfishness. Okay, that's how he managed. Okay, except when things required his attention as a president to do. All right. Then at that point, he didn't know what to do. Okay, that kind of attention getting doesn't work in solving problems, and that's where his tactic fails at that point. Okay, it fails him, because you can't be the star of the show all the time. You have to give the spotlight to somebody else sometimes in order to do your job to solve a problem, and he just wouldn't let it go, and neither will she. Okay, neither will she, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She just won't. And, you know, the fact that, you know, she supports Trump and she does all these things is just, you know, a side issue. Obviously, it really doesn't matter who she supports. The fact is, she herself is dangerous, and she shouldn't even be sitting in a seat of power in our government. She shouldn't have got that seat. And, you know, there's better people out there who could do her job and do it 10 times better, and not have to have the spotlight always on them all the time, and behave like a civilized human being and not like some white trash whore that lives next door. Okay, you have to have people that have a level of a baseline of class to begin with, and some intelligence. Okay, even if they're going to be a crook. Okay, you got to have somebody in there that's got some intelligence, and you really don't want somebody that draws attention in the way she does. You know, the Republican Party doesn't really need any more Marjorie Taylor Greenes right now, or Donald Trumps. I mean, those people have ruined that party. They really have. I mean, I don't know how many people in that party realize it, but it's going to be a long time mending that party to get it back on its feet and being something near the way it was, let's say, back in the 80s. Okay, but right now, as the party stands, it's not a party, it's a cult. Okay, they demean themselves down to the level of a cult. And cults don't last long in this country, okay? I mean, take a look at Waco, Texas. I mean, when cults get to the point of being a common nuisance, okay, you know, our government has a way of reeling them in, okay? Unless you have some good reason to be what you are, you're not going to get a whole lot of acceptance from the public. And, you know, the more attention that we put on that party, or you want to call it that, and show them that they've lost their way so bad that they're not even really, you can't even look at them as a political being anymore, that they're simply just there for themselves to draw attention away from the things that need to be fixed here, you know. And certainly, you know, I think that there should have been a lot more to say about not just Marjorie Taylor Greene, but the Republican cult, in addition to interviewing her, because without that cult, she wouldn't even be there. Okay, it was that cultish mentality that got her voted in, just like Lauren Boebert. Okay, if that party had any class still, those people never would have got voted in there. The people would have turned on them easy. Okay, but we saw it right at the a long time with Sarah Palin. We saw that it was becoming like that when Sarah Palin was running with John McCain. Okay, and we saw that, you know, there's some kooky people out there, you know, in that party, and I think it was sort of a surprise to John McCain that, you know, right-wing influences, extreme right-wing influences, were corrupting the whole party as a whole when these people were, you know, cheering on Sarah Palin for, you know, whatever dumb thing she said. Okay, so, you know, from my point of view, that's kind of where it revealed itself. I mean, there was always the extreme arm of the right wing, always was there, but they were never really heard from. But that was when they first started to be heard, I think, was back in that, you know, during those years. And so here we are today. And the reason why here we are today is because the Republican Party would not keep these people caged, you know, in their own thing, you know, not to give them attention. But now it seems like in order for that party to survive, they need their vote. They need the extremist arm of their own party to keep them going. Okay? And if it comes to that, you've already lost. I mean, if you have to depend on the rabble-rousers and the violent people to keep your party in existence, then it's time to reinvent your party, maybe even get rid of it. I mean, it's just, you know, how can you have a conservative party that's broken still go around and say, America needs us? Really? It's like, yeah, we need a hole in our chest or something. You know, what the hell do we need that party for if they can't get their shit together? If they can't even solve simple problems anymore? If their only purpose is to go into the Washington, D.C. and stop Democrats from accomplishing anything, even the most basic thing. What point do we say, look, you guys, you're not being American, you're not being political and American, you're not even interested in the system. So unless you are here to work, to do things as a politician is supposed to do, okay, by discussion, you know, debate, unless you're here to actually play the game, we don't need you. Okay, regular people from outside our doors could do the job better than you, because at least they would be able to discuss stuff with us instead of coming in here with a chip on your shoulder like you do and scream and holler at everybody that you're not going to do a damn thing. Okay, we don't need that. All right, even when Democrats are out of power, mostly, we still try to work, you know, as hard as it is with Republicans to get things done. Okay, we don't put a roadblock on progress simply because Republicans are in power. We still play the game. Republicans are sore losers in every way possible. Okay, they cannot stand it when they're not in power, and when they're not in power, they are the most stone-wearied, rooted in nothing people that you could ever meet. Okay, they'll destroy the country in order to get their way. You know. Let's go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
I'm not really concerned because I can swim, so it's no big deal. It's just a safety thing in case there's like something, like an emergency happens, you know.
Hello, I'm James Whittingham for Rely Undergarments. Many of you with bladder control problems are embarrassed about wetting yourself in public because you're afraid that your adult diaper might leak. Well, I'm here to tell you about Rely. Rely offers you the assurance of a toilet without the obvious bulk that many adult diapers have. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a bladder control problem. I'm a successful actor-comedian, and I'm above that sort of disgustingness. But unlike other people with bladder control problems, I'm just lazy. I don't like to stop my active day to go pee. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to eat, and as a big eater, I can spend 40, even 50 minutes going to the bathroom each day. With Rely, I have a whole new freedom that I never had before. But don't just listen to me. Here's what other regular people just like you have to say about Rely.
Oh, it's just a hassle. You just put it on and they don't bug you.
I think it's very important. You never can tell what's going to happen to you when you're out in the boat. Color is everything. Get the ones with the little Muppets on them.
Hasn't affected me at all.
Okay. That summer 3 years ago, there's nothing to do to us anymore.
So there you have it. If you're looking for complete bladder protection, Rely's got you covered.
Holy fuck.
Were you just checking out her ass?
No, I wasn't.
You know what? Fuck this.
Wait, babe, calm down. Oh my god. Mary! I am sorry!
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Fight for Pollution booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Okay, so Newsweek put out an article here a few hours ago, and it was written by Matthew Impelli, entitled, "New York Mayor Issues a 5-Word Warning to Marjorie Taylor Greene." New York City Mayor Eric Adams issued a 5-word warning to Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Georgia Republican, in response to her plans to protest the arraignment of former President Donald Trump on Tuesday. Quote, "Although we have no specific threats, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is known to spread misinformation and hate speech, she stated she's coming to town," unquote, the mayor said during a press briefing on Monday, which focused on public safety announcements. Quote, "Be on your best behavior," unquote, Adams added. The comments by Adams come shortly after Greene posted tweets saying that she planned to travel to New York City to protest Trump's arraignment. On Thursday, a grand jury indicted the former president following an investigation by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office into an alleged hush money payment of $138,000 paid by his former lawyer Michael Cohen to adult film star Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet ahead of the 2016 presidential election about an affair she claimed she had with Trump back in 2006. The former president has denied having an affair with Daniels and has maintained his innocence in the case, accusing prosecutors of engaging in a politically motivated witch hunt. Prosecutors, however, believe the payment violated campaign finance laws. Quote, "I'm going to New York on Tuesday. We must protest the unconstitutional witch hunt," unquote, Greene wrote in a tweet last week. Quote, "New York, put your MAGA hats on. Under our constitutional rights, we will support President Trump and protest the tyrants. I'll see you on Tuesday," unquote, the GOP lawmaker wrote in another tweet. Greene also posted a link to a planned protest in New York City on Tuesday where she wrote, quote, "Join me this Tuesday in New York City to protest the political persecution of President Donald J. Trump by Soros-backed DA Alvin Bragg. Have your MAGA hats ready," unquote. In another tweet on Monday afternoon, Greene responded to Adams's remarks and said, quote, "Delusional. New York City mayor is trying to intimidate, threaten, and stop me from using my First Amendment rights to peacefully protest the Democrats' unconstitutional weaponization of our justice system against our top Republican presidential candidate, President Trump," unquote. Quote, "Mayor Adams should be more concerned about New York citizens and taxpayers being murdered, raped, robbed, and carjacked than an elected member of Congress coming to town. Or should I be the one concerned that the mayor of New York City will weaponize his government or maybe his thugs like DA Alvin Bragg against me," unquote, the Congresswoman's tweet added. Newsweek reached out to Greene's spokesperson for further comment via email. During his press briefing on Monday, Adams also spoke about any other individuals who plan on traveling to the city to protest Trump's arraignment. Quote, "While there may be some rabble-rousers thinking about coming to our city tomorrow, a message is clear and simple. Control yourselves," unquote, he said. Last week, Trump's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, spoke to ABC's Good Morning America about a potential arrest of the former president and said that Trump, quote, will not be put in handcuffs, unquote. Quote, as far as mugshots are concerned, perp walk, as I said, I'm sure they'll try to make sure they get some joy out of this by parading him. But I think this is a different situation, unquote, he said. Trump is not accused of violent crimes that would warrant his hands being cuffed behind his back. While defendants in white-collar crimes are often placed in cuffs with their hands in front of them, it is likely that an exception will be made for former U.S. President who has surrendered and will be flanked by armed Secret Service agents. After his arraignment in New York, Trump's office said that he will deliver remarks at Mar-a-Lago, his home in Palm Beach, Florida, at 8:15 tomorrow night on Tuesday. Let's see. So, yeah, why shouldn't the mayor of New York City come out and say something like that? I mean, we saw how these people respond to what they see as a perceived injustice. You know, the Democrats took away our victory, okay? And so they went on January 6th and tried to bring down the whole goddamn Capitol. Why shouldn't any mayor in any part of this country not be a bit concerned that these people are gathering at a certain time and place, okay, for Donald Trump, the guy that, you know, basically talked them into going into attacking the Capitol there on January the 6th, okay? And she was part of it. You know, she was part of that friggin' rabble. Okay, so, you know, if they can't get Trump out there to stir the shit up, she'll be happy to do it. Okay? So, yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, Osama bin Laden wanted to come to the United States to start a protest. I mean, wouldn't you as a mayor want to say, hey, keep it calm, keep it civil, or there's going to be trouble? I mean, come on. These people have already marched to the level of being terrorists. You know, they're lucky that these people even still have the right to come out and protest. It's a wonder anybody does after January 6th. Okay? But the fact that, you know, they haven't cracked down on protesting in this country after that, which if it was under George W. Bush, they certainly would have been cracked down on, okay? Remember the protest zones, you know, and shit like that? Okay? They certainly would have been responded to. But because Biden hasn't done stuff like that, okay, it only shows that, you know, hey, Democrats aren't afraid of the protesters, okay? We just want to make sure that they get the message that if you are going to protest, that you do it in a calm, orderly fashion, okay? And you're not out there to basically vandalize another government building or go after politicians or leaders or whatever, okay? We don't want you doing that. And leave your guns at home. Okay, we see any guns, they're going to be arrested. I mean, I think that's, you know, that's their thing. The New York City police will probably be watching them. Okay, if they see anybody with a weapon or something like that, they're probably going to be taken out of the line or whatever and disarmed and questioned or whatever, you know, because, hey, it's a volatile political system right now in America. Okay, we can't even sit and have a discussion much anymore in our society that doesn't become some kind of a friggin' debate that turns into an argument that turns into a bloodbath. Okay, it goes there too quick. And it's gotten so bad that people don't even want to talk to the other side anymore. Even on social media, I mean, the minute they find out somebody is on the other side, they get blocked, okay? Which is probably, you know, in some cases, probably the smart thing, because at least then you won't have to have these feuds online that used to, you know, saturate like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that years ago, okay, before there was even any consideration about, you know, trying to filter out bad comments. I mean, people used to say any damn thing that crossed their mind, and there was never hardly a thing done about it. But like today, we have some rules in place for that. And you know, and the way that the companies are dealing with it is pretty half-assed, if you ask me. Asking a computer to do the monitoring, you know, it's not going to take anything into context. It's you know, it's an algorithm. You know, it looks for certain words and certain phrases, okay? And people often say things using words and phrases that might be in there but not meant, okay? But it won't matter to an algorithm. If it's in there, you're out, okay? So instead of actually putting human beings in the process of filtering out comments, they use the damn computer to do it for them, okay? Because, hey, you don't have to pay a computer, right? It's just there. So they got lazy, and that's how they deal with it, which is no solution at all as far as I'm concerned. It's just people can find a way to get around algorithms. You know, all you're doing is forcing people to invent new ways of saying the thing they want to say, right? And the algorithm at that point isn't going to know what you're talking about. So, like I said, the mayor has every reason in the world. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene don't like it. She can draw the attention back on herself, saying, "Oh, he's afraid of me," okay? Instead of, you know, being concerned about the thousands that might show up tomorrow in New York, okay? No, it's about me. He doesn't want me there, you know. He doesn't want me saying anything. He doesn't want, you know, me to start anything. You know, that's how she acts. I mean, everything is about her, you know, when it comes to, you know, attention getting. I mean, why do you think she's there? Because she knows she'll draw the cameras there, okay? And so I guarantee you, if she's out on the street, the media is going to be looking at her, mostly. Okay? They're not going to care about the fucking idiots behind her that are marching with her. It's all going to be about her. They're going to talk to her. They're going to question her. They're going to ask her about the 60 Minutes interview. They're going to do all these things, and it's going to look like she's the only one out there protesting. Okay? And I go back to my short video that I made here about why did they wait? Okay, why are they not out there now protesting? If this is such a big problem for them, okay? If you know, if Donald Trump was really being mistreated here and injustice was being done, why weren't they out there Friday when they announced they were going to hand down an indictment? Why weren't they out there out in the front, you know, screaming and hollering at that point? Because, hey, any Democrat would have been that day. If it was a Democrat that was getting indicted that was, you know, popular, there would have been people right out there. They'd have dropped what they were doing and they would have already been out there. These people, where the hell were they? You know, you can't tell me that they needed 4 days to rally people together to go to New York City tomorrow and do this. Okay, it didn't need to be said. Okay, especially since they knew where he was going to end up going. So, like I said, I feel like, you know, it's orchestrated, okay? It's not really genuine. Of course, they're always going to find people that will go out there and scream and holler, okay? They've been known to bus people in. You know, they got these right-wing bus companies or whatever the hell you call them. They used to have them at the Tea Party. Remember the Tea Party rallies and stuff? And these buses would show up that were all painted like, you know, of course, they were all paid to go out there and gather up these folks and bring them in. So, you know, like I said, they wait 4 days to, you know, look for a crowd to show up there. And it's like, well, come on. I mean, where the hell were you yesterday? Or where the hell were you the day before? Or that, you know, why weren't you out there all weekend? You know, instead, the talk of the town, you know, the weekend was the fucking 60 Minutes interview. There was no mention of anything about any people protesting anywhere about what Donald Trump was going to be looking at tomorrow. You know, so it just, like I said, you know, when the Democrats saw that their Roe versus Wade precedent was being flipped on its head, shit, they were out there that day. Okay, so like I said, you know, there's a certain level of manufacturism, whatever you want to call it, being done on us. Okay, there's a certain level of preparation of people holding their tongue for 4 days to let them come out. You know, I mean, what about the people that can't go all the way to New York City? You know, why didn't they have protests already going on? You know, it's like I said, it just feels wrong. It just feels like this is manufactured, that it's all for the purpose of Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, just to get the media spotlight on them. While there's more important things happening in America, where you got DeSantis attacking public schools down in Florida, and Medicaid being taken away from senior citizens across the country, and stuff like that. I mean, you got more important things going on. I mean, today you had a walkout of students in a school, I can't remember where, but they were out protesting, basically saying we want our schools to be safer. That was going on today. But what were we talking about? Donald Trump. Okay? That news was pushed into the back burner where, nobody probably will even remember it because everybody's attention is all on the orange man. Okay? The orange hippo. I used to like playing Hungry Hippos, by the way. Remember that? When the thing comes out and then pulls the marbles back in? It was a noisy game, but I used to like playing it. And then one of those hippos was orange. So, the orange hippo. And so I think like we really, the media really needs to stop with the bullshit. Okay? Trump is really not that big a story. He's been in the newspaper so damn long. It's like we're sick of hearing about him. I mean, I think I am. I think I'm sick of knowing about him. I mean, they could have summed up in just a sentence what was going to happen to him tomorrow. Okay? And that would have been all you could get out of that story because nobody knows what the charges are yet. But everybody's out there saying they know what it is, okay? But nobody knows. It hasn't been read. It hasn't been read. So we're not going to know till tomorrow what he's being charged with. But we know it has something, some of it has something to do with Stormy Daniels, okay? We know maybe that is part of it. But like I said, there's a lot more charges behind there than just that, okay? Some people are speculating there might be RICO laws there that have been violated and stuff, which is probably true, knowing him. But like I said, nobody knows definitely what he's being charged with. We're not going to know till tomorrow. But everybody's been speculating on all the commentator shows and yada yada and the friggin' me, all weekend long. Okay? And it's like, well, you guys, there's more important. I mean, we had tornadoes ripping across the country over the weekend. And, we had that devastation going on. And then we had, I think there was a shooting over the weekend. I can't remember where, but I think I saw something of it online. And we had, like the kids, for like today, the kids in, protesting today at a school because they're sick and tired of having to pretend that, we got to do drills, shooter drills as they call them. I can't imagine psychologically what that does to kids at such a young age. I mean, I understand that they don't tell these kids when they're really small that the shooter drills that they're practicing for are for actual shooters. They're probably telling them, if there's an animal in the school or something like that, this is what you do. And that's what they believe until they're old enough to where they tell the kids what they're actually doing. Okay, I don't know. I caught wind of something like that here not too long ago, but that's what they're telling the kids at, at the, first, second, third grade, whatever. But psychologically, what that does to kids as they are going through school, it can't be good. It can't be good. Because they're going to be on their nerves all the friggin' time while they're in school. And any adult would be. And people are still debating whether having armed teachers is a solution in the classrooms or armed guards in the schools. Then there's the talk about, the doors are not sealed properly or whatever, they should be all locked, okay? Well, you can't do that because that violates fire safety regulations. There has to be access out of the school if there's a fire. If the doors are locked, how are they going to get out? Okay, who's going to be in charge of unlocking those doors if there's a fire? And there's really, when it comes to a school, there's only so many ways you can defend the kids. I mean, we had a school in Uvalde, okay, where the situation could have been cut short sooner if the police had the guts down there to go into school and do what they were supposed to do. Okay, so we got a problem there. So when the school isn't a solution, then the cops should be. Then they're not the solution either. So we go back to the same thing. Well, then the people need to be armed. Yeah. Having armed teachers with a gun in their desk is better, where the kids won't get to it. Okay, yeah, right. That always works. Locking the gun away always works, right? Yeah. So I feel like that the kids protesting are trying to say you're the adults. You need to be smart and do better at protecting our lives. Our lives are in your hands from the time we're born till we graduate from these schools. And if you can't keep our schools safe, then what good are you? We might as well be handed over to the state, for Christ's sake, if you're not going to do your job as parents to keep us safe. You're not fit to be a parent. If you can't put value over your child's life, then who the hell are you? We're born into a friggin' psycho family that puts the value of a gun over somebody else's life. Okay, because you're not going to take my gun away just because 100 people were shot in the school. No. Let them die, but I'm keeping my gun. So how many lives will it take for you to hand over your gun? How many lives will it take for you to even just have more regulations on your gun? What's the price? How many lives is it going to cost you to say, okay, go ahead and put the, because up to this point now, if in some way at this point they decide, yes, okay, we can put regulations on it, then we could say, well, it took you about 1,000 some odd people or kids for you to admit that we need to have gun regulation. That's what it cost you. You're a piece of shit. Okay, you're a piece of shit. And it took that many lives to convince you that an armed public is a dangerous public. You're a piece of shit. Even if you give up some of your rights to have your gun, even if you accept some legislation, you are a piece of shit. Okay? And if that's the way you want to leave this world, when you meet your maker, God help you. Because every one of you is going to be asked, why did you wait so long? Why did you allow all these souls behind me to enter the kingdom here before you? Why did you allow that? I thought I taught you people how to care and love one another, especially your children. How are you going to explain that to them, to the Almighty, those of you that believe in that sort of thing? How are you going to explain that to them? Don't you think you're going to be the one that's going to be not crucified, but sent to hell to burn, like you've been telling everybody else that they're going to be the ones that are going to fall into the pit of hell? It could be you. It could be you for not being more upfront and following good advice about how to take care of each other. It could be you, because you're out there telling people the fetus is more important than the life of a child. Hell with the child. Let the child get shot, but boy, don't you touch that fetus. What do you think that kind of mixed message sends out to the people? That you're a fucking nut. And if we think that, you know damn well who else does. Okay? So do some thinking. Wake up yourself. That's why we say get woke. You need to wake up. Check yourself. Look at your values and your principles and ask yourself, am I so sure about my principles that I never question what I think or believe in? I mean, come on. All right, that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So please subscribe and comment, and make sure that you check your local news on any COVID-19 matters. The bug's still out there, and if you haven't gotten any shots or anything like that, it's good to get them. Okay. I got all the shots that they've been making so far for me, and not a single one of them has done anything to me. So I'm just, but we know that thing just keeps mutating, so I'll probably have to get more shots later on, whenever. They'll notify me at the clinic when I need to get one. So, but treat each other nice out there, and, for God's sake, especially tomorrow, just try not to fight and argue and stir up the shit, okay? Remember that, some people are at fault and won't realize it until they fall. But you can't push them to the ground. They got to get there on their own, because a lesson like that is better served and teaches better when that person falls and has to get back on their on their feet again. Okay, but don't push them to the ground to force them to agree with you. That never works. It never works. Force never works. Okay, so I'll talk to you all later, and take care.